Hi everybody, welcome back to Ox Talks. It is October 11th, 2023. Thanks for tuning in. If you like the content, please share the video with your friends and consider subscribing to the channel. I just saw an update on Zero Hedge a few minutes ago. It's now confirmed that 22 Americans have been killed in the Israeli-Hamas conflict. So this situation is escalating very, very rapidly. We need to be paying attention to this because it will have an impact on us here in the United States. There was an article on the Zero Hedge later yesterday that says White House mulls putting Israel-Ukraine aid into a single package to jam conservative holdouts. It says, as Israel has declared a complete siege on Gaza in response to the Hamas attack on southern Israel, the U.S. is scrambling to get more weapons in the hands of the Israelis. According to the Washington Post, it says the Biden administration is considering combining its request for more spending on the war in Ukraine with new aid for Israel. U.S. Army Secretary Christine Wormuth is calling on Congress to approve additional funding to ensure that the U.S. can sustain both wars. And there is an article also yet from yesterday out of ABC News that says Israel-Hamas war causes spike in oil prices. Here's what it means for gas costs and inflation. It says oil prices have climbed over fears that the Israeli-Hamas war could embroil the wider petroleum-producing Gulf region and threaten global output. The global Brent oil benchmark rose nearly 5% in trading on Monday, reversing some of a major decline in recent weeks that had cheered many market onlookers and car drivers. The price of crude oil, it says, holds major implications for the economy and consumers through its direct effect on costs as an output into products ranging from gasoline to plastics. And it says even more, crude oil prices manifest in the cost of a much wider range of goods because the production and transport of many products depends on oil, economy and trade analysts told ABC News. So why do I bring this up and what does it mean for us here at home? It means that prices are going to continue to go up. Prices of fuel, what you pay at the pump, is going to keep going up. Prices for the food you're buying at the store and other goods that you need to survive are also have been going up and now will continue to spike. So what should you be doing? In my opinion, now is the time to make sure that you are getting your food stockpiled. Make sure that you are putting back the water stockpiles that you need. Make sure that you are purchasing and acquiring and storing the medical supplies that you need. And this also goes for ammunition and security. That will likely also become even more scarcer now that the United States is going to be supplying ammunitions to fight a war on two different fronts. So keep that all in mind as we watch this situation unfold. For those of you that, like myself, that don't have the ability to necessarily raise and grow all of your own food, you have to consider storage. You have to consider maybe getting an additional freezer or an additional refrigerator and purchasing these items now. I did a video with Jeremiah Babe probably a year or so ago, and we were in a Walmart, and I was discussing, some of the things that I do relative to my food preps. And one of the things that I've done for many, many years is acquire those number 10 cans. I believe I did an analysis of how the cost had risen just on those food items over the prior 2 years. And I know now it's even gone up exponentially from when I last did that that analysis and that breakdown. So now's the time to start acquiring the stuff if you haven't already done so. Get the freezers full, start picking up some extra meat when you go by the store so you have this backup. If you don't need it, fine, but you're going to have to have these things in order and think about the fact that, hey, this is not just going to impact another part of the world, it's going to impact us here at home as well. I found an article relative to inflation and what wars do to inflation. It was actually an article from Forbes that was published back in January of 2022. And that was just about a month before Russia had invaded Ukraine. And what it says is, with Russia massing troops at the Ukraine border and the United States discussing potential military involvement, potential at that time, a possible war with Russia over Ukraine seems to be brewing. One would be prudent to consider not only the geopolitical ramifications of a war with Russia, but also the inflationary implications, especially when inflation is paramount in the minds of 88% of American voters, according to a recent Rasmussen poll. Again, this article is well over a year and a half ago. And the title of the article is "The Reasons Why a War in Ukraine Will Make Inflation Worse." And it then cites and analyzes 6 main reasons. One is the federal deficits would increase, and we've seen now in hindsight that they have. The second reason is monetary policy would have to ease. The third reason is energy prices are likely to rise. And it says, generally, oil and natural gas prices rise sharply when war happens, as armies consume enormous amounts of oil. In the early 2000s, when we invaded Afghanistan and then Iraq, oil prices increased 7-fold, from $25 per barrel in September of 2001 to $140 per barrel in September of 2008, representing an oil price inflation rate of more than 25% per annum during that period. The next reason it cites with regard to why inflation increases in wartime, shortages will probably worsen, food prices will increase, and the US dollar could depreciate. We've seen a lot of those things from the time this article was written in January of 2022 play out here in our economy. And it seems to me that with this new conflict, we have to be prepared for it to become much, much worse. I wanted to address the idea of getting our house in order, so to speak. And what that means. Obviously, it means preparing yourself with regard to the supplies we just talked about. But also, it comes up often with clients of mine that they're concerned about how they're going to transfer their assets to their loved ones if something should happen to them. And this comes to the concept of estate planning. And that's part of getting your house in order. It gives you peace of mind at night to understand that you have a will in place, you have some powers of attorney that you've executed, which appoints someone to make decisions for you in the event that you're incapacitated, make medical decisions for you, which is a power of attorney for healthcare, make business decisions for you, which is referred to as a general durable power of attorney. Having a simple will in place, estate planning is not just for elderly people. I've had a simple estate plan in place for myself and my family since I was in my 30s. And I have a lot of clients that do take that step to plan ahead, especially if you own real property, especially if you have a family and you have younger children. It makes a lot of sense to have those documents prepared for you by a qualified attorney, and think about how you can streamline the process of transferring, the fruits of your hard labor, your assets to your beneficiaries when you are deceased. So give that some thought. And again, the laws vary from state to state in terms of estate planning. In California, we often implement what's called a revocable living trust if you own real property, and it's very simple to create. And what it does is when it's done properly and funded properly, is it avoids the probate process. When someone passes away, if they don't have anything in order, everything has to proceed through the probate court. It's a long process and it can be very, very expensive. If you think ahead, similar to planning, think ahead and get these things in place ahead of time. And then you put it in the safe. You don't have to worry about it, and you know it's done. It's just one more thing that gives you some peace of mind. I hope that's helpful. And again, in closing, making a point of talking about the fitness. I've been receiving some comments about people and their fitness regimen, and really like to hear the feedback from all of you. But if you haven't got your half an hour of exercise in today, please get it done. Please get some push-ups in, get some sit-ups in, stay hydrated, drink your water. We're coming into very, very, very uncertain times. Don't assume that what's happening in other parts of the world cannot happen here. So it's really important that you take health and your physical fitness regimen seriously right now. And with that said, I appreciate all of you tuning in. And until next time, have a good afternoon and evening. Thanks.